Now, here you are, the Hulk series or something is behind you. Where do you go next? How does a person make a transition, whether they're 62 years old or whether they're 52 years old? What did they start thinking? How did they start thinking, what do I want to do next?
As long as you keep your hunger, as long as you put in your head that if you're 40, you're 50, 60, it doesn't mean you feel, okay, I'm an old man now, I feel like I have to get in the rocking chair. No, because if you have to drive, if you take care of your body, there's no reason why you can't perform well if you're like at 20 or 30. But what you do is you bring age into the process. You accept the age. Like, for example, an acting role. Most actors, like 60, 70, they keep acting, but they act as they get older. It's the same thing, everything else in life. Because we don't know much about our life till we're like in the 40s or 50s. And kind of like a wake-up call. And because, you know, I think we spend half our life looking for what we want to do. But I think that the inner peace, and most people come in after 50 years old because you know that you mature.
You know what you're here for.
Right, you have the same energy. If you keep the same energy, there's no reason why you can keep conquering the world. But it all has to do, as long as you have the hunger inside of you.
It's very important to me, and my husband and I have a very active life. We work a lot for a foundation in Mammoth building a college. My husband has been on the board of directors for the last 15 years, and every time he starts to say this, driving back and forth to Los Angeles to Mammoth, which is 6 hours,
Wow.
to go up there for a meeting is, and I keep encouraging him to stick with it because it's something that requires a great deal of his time and effort, and it gives him a place in the world.
Yeah,
People need to work.
I agree.
I need to work. The bad part about being an actress is that you have a song to sing and no one wants to listen anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
I
You don't
know.
have an audience.
I know, I'm a songwriter. I know all about that.
Oh, well, you know, a bird does not sing because it wants to. It sings because it has a song.
Yeah.
Can't help itself. Actors get very frustrated when they're not working. So I have found that athletics and other diversions keep the frustration level down. But I would still be acting if someone would hire me.
My granddaughter said to me one time, she said, "Papa, you better get your ears fixed." And of course I ended up getting hearing aids from New Ear and Starkey and so forth, and I've had them now for a number of years. They're wonderful. The big thing, though, about retirement is staying busy.
And grandkids and all your kids, I bet you when Poppy shows up, you put a smile on their face.
Well,
I mean, that's a whole new ball game for you.
They like when Papa shows up. They all call me Papa. And the thing about it, Bobby, if you go see one play a Little League game, you better go see the other. You better go see the other. And
What's the most exciting plays you've seen?
You got 2 in St. Louis, and you got 4 in Tulsa, and you got 3 more in Kansas City. You know, you're kind of making the circle, you know. And then I got a lot of charity golf tournaments. I think it's very, very important for me to talk only about the positive things. If he struck out twice, to tell him what a good play he made backing up the first baseman when he blew the ball. That was really good hustle. That's being alert. Always try to, every game they play, and make something positive for him. And I've found that that's true in every walk of life.
That keeps them going.
That keeps them going. That pumps them up, because now they forget about striking out twice.
You do a lot of speaking. You're a public figure and a famous guy. And people are looking forward to, you know, hearing from you. But if you can't hear them, so the hearing aids, you mentioned like being on a platform, might be 1,000 people out there, and you hit a button and you can, just from your hearing aids, you can hear during the Q&A. And it must have been embarrassing not to be able to field those questions.
I want to tell you, since I've got the digital hearing aids, and I can push out the background noise, and I can get on a podium now, and there's 1,000 people, and sometimes I think adults make more noise than kids. And when you get done speaking, and it is somebody that's a bunch of baseball people or sports people, they want to ask you some questions. Now, if there's background noise over here, I can push this button, and I can hear that guy ask me that question. It's the same thing at home. If I've got TV on over here, my wife's over in the kitchen, I can understand her now. It's like night and day what it was.
I say, what I tell them, because you're here, but I say it helps, hearing helps keep you in the ball game of retirement. If you can't hear, you're going to start paddling your way away from golf benefits and this kind of stuff because it's embarrassing.
Yeah. See, I used to get off airplane when even the last few years I managed, and my ears would be plugged up. I couldn't hear. I couldn't give a reporter an interview. I couldn't answer questions and so forth. Maybe 15, 20 minutes. For some reason now, when I wear my hearing aids when I fly, I can talk when the plane hits the ground. I think the one thing that I've learned is you got to stay busy, but you got to exercise. And I think too many people get to the age where they say, I'm going to retire at 62, I'm going to retire at 65, or maybe it's 70 and they're in pretty good health. They retire, they think they're done. You know, they go get them a bag of golf clubs, they put them on a cart and they almost hit their ball when they swing. They don't get much exercise. I found out that for the last 7, 8 years, I pump iron 3 times a week, do the treadmill 45 minutes a day. On the days I don't pump iron, I always do at least 55 to 60 minutes on the machines, the new step, the treadmill, and the bicycle. And on the other 3 days when I do pump the iron. I think that's very important to work up that body, get that body working every day, perspire a little bit, and keep busy and keep your weight down. And I tried it.
I got a mission, I got a purpose. And I think people need a purpose in their lives. When they have a purpose, then when you're getting a little momentary break from that, that becomes special, and that's something you remember too. But it's like having all icing and no cake, no substance to it. I know guys that have retired and they really enjoyed golf, and then when they went to play every day, they really missed their work and missed having a purpose and direction. Yeah, well, you got to pursue something that you find is meaningful to you, that you find is that you live through what you, something that you can contribute to humanity that makes the world better. And when you find that and you find your purpose, you'll never get tired. You'll want to keep working and being part of it.
You're 62.
Right.
You don't need to come to work every day. You could retire.
I could have retired many, many, many years ago.
But you're going somewhere.
Right.
Where do you think you're going next?
Where I'm going is to Monterrey, Mexico, to fit some children with hearing aids so they can be part of life, so they can develop their fullest potential and exchange their thoughts and ideas and feelings and develop their character and be all they can be for our world. Thing for me to do. Everybody that's thinking about retiring needs to find something that's within their talents and skills that they can give back. And
So they don't have to look 10 years down the road.
No, you can. There's always something you can do to make the world better. You know, I know people that have retired, you know, involuntarily because of their health and their whatever, and they get into, maybe they have to go to a nursing home, but they still contribute to making that nursing home better. They do think they help organize and activities and whatever. So there's no point.
It's not about age.
No, there's no point in your life when you can't give something back to make your community better. Your community is your town, your our world. Your community is your nursing home if you're living there. And we're community animals. Human beings are designed to help each other, and that's the good part about this great design.
So you don't believe in retirement?
Not at all. Because then if you quit and you're just thinking about yourself, it's an empty life. You're not giving back. You're not helping someone else.
Now that is what I call the inspired retired. They all had one thing in common, a hearing disability, but they didn't let it stop them, and they didn't put it off the way so many people do. They got it taken care of by getting a hearing test, by getting hearing aids, and that in part enabled them to make the successful transition that we were talking about into what many of them now term the time of their lives.